Materials to be needed. So starting line, I'm going to go ahead and mark out the zip allowance. It's going to be for a 1-year-old girl. So I'll go ahead and mark out my half length first. Mark the half length. The half length I'm working with is 8 inches. I just added 1 inch for sewing allowance at the shoulder and then at the lower part. So right now I'm going to be marking out the neckline and then the shoulder. I've marked 2 inches here for my neckline and then 4.5. 9 inches is for the shoulder, but half an inch will be for joining the sleeve, although there's not going to be a sleeve here, but I'm going to mark that. So I'll be slanting it by half an inch, and then mark is my armhole area. The armhole I'm working with is 4.5 inches, so I'll just mark that and then make a line to meet that together. Next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and then mark out my waistline and then the bust line. The bust I'm working with is 23 inches. Okay, I'm going to be cutting the front first. 23 inches for the bust. So I'll
The
just
bust area.
mark that out like that.
Then
And add 1.5 inch to that. And then the waist I'm working is 22 inches. So I'll just mark that like that. And add 1.5 inch. There will be no dart allowance here. So I'll cut this out and then set it aside to cut the bust. So right now I'll just go ahead and mark out 1 inch.
so
For
I've
the
done
zip
that, and then
allowance,
I'm
and I'll
just
place
putting
this
another
right here
fabric to cut out
on
the
it
back
and
part.
cut this.
So I cut
And cut
exactly
it
the
out
same
exactly
thing here,
just
just
like
that I
this.
increased it by
So right
1
now
inch
I've
for
cut out
zipper
both of
allowance.
this. So the
So I've
next thing
cut
to
both
do
out right
is
now,
to slant
and then the
this
next thing
area
is to
by
segregate.
half
I
an
mean,
inch.
cut out, because it's
Just
an
to
all
make it
shoulder
sit
dress,
well. You
sort
can see
of.
what I'm
It's
doing. I'll just
a
slant
dress
it
with a
aside.
strap.
Let me
So
show
I'll
you
just go
what
up
I'm
by
doing.
half an inch
Just half
there
an
at the
inch
back,
like
just
this.
half an inch,
So
to make sure that
I'll
the
chop
back
this
of the
out
dress is
again.
sitting properly. So I'll cut that out. I'll slant it to the side. So I'm going to
Then I'll
slant it down and then
cut
I'll
this
cut
out.
it off right there.
Create something like an
So
off-shoulder part for
I'll
this
then go ahead and
dress
remove
because it's going to be
the
having just
shoulder
strap.
part
So
to
what I'm
replace
going
it
to be
back with
doing
the
is
strap.
to mark
Okay,
out 2 inches
so right
like
there
this.
I've just marked out
Okay,
2 inches.
I'll come
You
down
can
by
see what
two
I'm
and a half
marking right
inches
there.
like this.
So I'll come down by 2.5 inches.
And then I would try and slant my armhole area. So what I'll be doing right now, because it's going to be a strapless dress, so I'll just come out here too by 2 inches, just like I did here. Please watch me closely. Just a straight line on this side. Then I'll just come out by 1.5 inches, because when I hold this side and hold this side, I'll be left with half an inch strap. Okay, so I will do the same thing. I'll come down here too by I came down here by 2.5 inches, so I'll come here too by 2.5 inches. You can see what I'm doing right here. You can see 2.5 inches. So I'll just make a straight line first and I'll mark the straight. Please watch me carefully. So the next thing I would increase the line here. So on this side, I'll just bring out the depth. So this is the front, okay, and this is the back. So I'm going to cut out the back first. Okay, so and then I'll just do something like this. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside now. We are going to be working. What I just cut out this side. This is the middle point. Okay, I'm not going to be using this. I'll be using this. So I'll just try and taper it just like this.
That's right.
I'm setting this aside now. I'll taper it like this. But because I'll be using half an inch also to join this side, so I'll just do something like this and cut out this way. And then left with this and this. You can see. So I'll cut this out now.
You are
So
saying
what we
that
are
when I
left
want to,
with, I'm going to be working on this. I'll develop this and add half an inch to this side. I'll be adding half an inch to this side, and then I'll be adding half an inch to this
I
side so
put
that
the
we
back
can
and
join
the
it
front.
together. So I'm going to be cutting 2 pieces of this and 2 pieces of this with half an inch joined together. So right now I've cut another piece. I've added half an inch to this side and half an inch to this side. So I'll go and cut. I'll set this aside right now. I'll be cutting lining for these two, and then I'll use this organza to cut out for these two. So remember that this is the piece we used for the strap. Okay, so I'm just going to be, that it was slanted like this, half an inch. So I'll just place a fabric just like this, Please watch me closely, and I'll turn it against each other like this. You can see. This is what I'm going to be doing. So I'll just trace it out like this. I'll have half an inch here to this side and half an inch to this side. And I'll cut it off. I'll come back and show us. As you can see, I've gone ahead to add half an inch to both sides. Okay, so I can take this away now. So I'll be cutting 4 pieces of this. 4 pieces of this because I'll be joining it on both sides. So I'll cut 4 pieces of that. To do right now is to cut out the round piece that's going to be under the body of the fabric. So I just went ahead to divide our waist measurement. I divided it by 6.28. okay, so I divided our waist measurement, which is 23, okay, plus 2 inches. That's for zip allowance. So I divided by 6.28. So my answer equals 3.5. So I went ahead to mark out 3.5 like this. You can see 3.5 all through. So after I was done, so I decided to cut out our full length is 23 inches. So I just came up by 7.5 from here. You can see 7.5 from here. So then I marked 22 inches. So I marked it all round like that. So I'll just go ahead and cut it. They didn't tell us. I folded it into four. Okay, I folded this into 4. So everywhere is closed. There's no open part here. Okay, so right now I've gone ahead to cut 4 pieces of this. Like I said, this is the strap. Then I've gone ahead to cut organza for each of this. I'm going to be putting it on this. I've cut organza for this. So the next thing is to cut out the organza that is going to be on that flare underskirt. What I did, I went ahead to cut out my organza. This part, the grain line, this side is 60 inches. So I cut out 2 pieces for that to increase the width of the organza because I want it to be really full. So I just went ahead to cut 2 different lengths. I cut out 11 inches for this shorter one. I cut 2 pieces of that, like I said. Then I cut 2 pieces of this too. You can see what I'm trying to say. Even though the waistline, you can make your waistline, you can make the organza waistline times 2, but I want mine to be really full. So I made it 60 inches by 2. That's 120, okay, for the gathers. So in this case, the length I'm working with is 24 inches. So I just went ahead to remove the half length, which is 8 inches. So I placed it at 7.5 for the joining, and then you can see that's 24. So I went ahead to cut it on fold. You can see, sorry, it's on fold. Please watch this, it's on fold. Okay, so I cut out 2 pieces of this, 2 pieces of this, then 2 pieces of the shorter one. So I'll go ahead and cut the lining for the underskirt. Lining again into 4. I folded it into 2 first, then into 4. So I'm going to be placing the underskirt that I cut earlier on it, and then I'll be using it by 3 inches upwards or 2 inches upwards. You can see I've cut out this lining, and it's just 2 inches less than the main fabric. So we are going to start sewing. This is what I'm going to be doing first. I'll go ahead and stitch down the organza fabric on all of this piece, all of the upper part of it. This is the back, this is the front. I'll stitch it down first of all. I'll come back and show. You can see I've attached the organza to each part of the fabric. So the next thing is to go ahead and turn this like this, half an inch on both sides. These straps, you know, they are 4. I'll be turning it 2 by 2. Okay, and see I've gone out to sew the 2 sides. So the next thing to do is to trim off this side for the both of them. Right now we'll be using these 2 straps. I've turned it out, and then we have these 2 straps. So what I'll be doing first of all is to go ahead and match this. You can see what I'm doing. I match this down. Then I go ahead and then put the spaces over it like this. So I'm going to sew like this, and then to the other armhole area. So I'll come back and show it. So I've gone ahead to stitch it down round. So you just go ahead and notch it. You can see I've used my scissors to notch those edges. You notch all of them.
You can see I've notched them. So you just bring it out and turn it out like this. To attach this rope to the back part, you can see I've placed the right side of this so that I will not make mistake. Look at the way I'm placing it. So it's going to be this way, okay? So you just go ahead and pin it and then use your other side to cover it up like this. Okay, so we are going to sew this way around and that. So we'll do the same thing for this other side too. I've gone ahead to stitch that side too. I've gone ahead to stitch the second side too. So the next thing we are going to do is to notch each of this area. This is the armhole area, to notch it, and then to notch this neckline area, and then bring it to the lowest, cut it down to the lowest point. Turned it out and I left a little bit space here because of the zipper allowance. I would like it to be neatly finished. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to turn this side like this, to turn the side of each of them. Now if you like, you can add belt. I'll be adding belt in my case. I'll go ahead and sew the belt and then fix it inside and then join the sides like you can see. This is the side like that. Let me show you again. This is the side, so I'll join the side like that, but I'll fix in a belt right here, then I'll come back and show us. So I brought in my belt, so I'll just insert it like this. Okay, this is the front piece side, then I'll use the back piece, the side of the back piece, to attach it down. So I'll sew the sides together by 1.5 inch like that I took. I'll do that for both sides and I'll come back to show. So right now you can see we have finished, inserted the belt on the two sides, and then it's properly finished. This is the inner part. You can see that it's properly finished. You can see with this side too. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and attach these layers. Told us before, I have two pieces of each of these long lengths and short length. Okay, so for this one, for this longer part, I'll go ahead and stitch the second one to it together like this. Please watch me closely. I'll go ahead and stitch it together this way like that. So I'll stitch the second one too, and then I'll close it up like this. Close up like this and run a stitch. So right now I've gone ahead to gather my organza. You can see this is the first and second layer. I've gathered it around this upper bodice. Like I said, you can see it's neatly finished. Then the lining, I went ahead to gather it around this lining. This is the lining. You can see this is the lining. I gathered it around this lining. You can do well to serge it and serge this side to make it neat. So this is what it's looking like. So the next thing to do is to attach my zip like this. You can watch my videos on how I attach zip. So I'll put the zip here first, 1 inch, and then I will turn this over like this to close it down so that we have a neat finish. I'll come and show you the result when I'm done. So now our dress is very ready. You can see like so clean inside and out. That's the back, that's the belt. You can see as it's aligning, our dress is ready. Now let's move on to the rose part of the dress. So we're going to be cutting this one in bias form. What we need to do is to fold this organza, this remaining organza. I have about a yard plus or so. Yes, around a yard. So I'll just be folding it in triangular way like this. Okay, so I'll be marking out 3 inches on this line and I'll cut all of them and come back to show us. So now to the flower area, we're going to go ahead and cut out 7 inches like this. Okay, you can, when I say 7 inches, when you fold it this way, we have 3.5. okay, all right, we cut out 3.5, you can see. So then I cut out 2 pieces of this like this, and I cut out 1 interface. Okay, so I just stitch it down and left a little space on this side to turn it around. So right now I've turned it out, and then what I'm going to do right now, I've stitched it right here. So I'll just go ahead and check the midpoint
and then I'll do something like this all the way. I'll wrap it down and come back. Now this has been completed, so the next thing is to um fix this ruffle around it. Like I told us earlier about the cutting of this one, I said we'll just place it. Let's assume this is a fabric. We are going to place it diagonally like this, and then I marked out 3.5 inches, just like that. I marked out, imagine this is let's assume that this 3.5 inches, I marked out 3.5 and I made a straight cut just like this. Okay, I made a straight cut just like this. So after I was done, I picked out each of these parts like that. I cut it straight, and then I joined it together in a straight form like this. So after I was done cutting it together, so all I did was to fold it into two like this, and I stitched it down. I folded it into two like this, and I stitched it down. So this is the result of what I have. So I'll go ahead and stitch it around this. So this is what we are going to be doing first. On this tip, the starting point of this particular circle is here. So I'm going to fold exactly like this. Can you see what I'm doing? Then I'll start running my pleats like this. Then I'll just use some gathers around it. So I would run the stitch this way down. So when I get to this midpoint, I'll come and show us what next to do. So right now, so I'll just go ahead and do something like this. You can see I've sewn it to this point, so I'll do something like this. Please watch me, and then I'll just roll it this way. So I'll hold it down with my needle, and I'll keep rolling, and then I'll roll to the end. So I keep rolling. Can you see what I'm doing? I keep rolling and rolling and rolling this way, and trying to secure with my needle and thread. And I'll tuck it inside here like this. So then I'll keep securing it until I have what I have. You can see what it's looking like. Right. So the next thing is to position it right in the middle like this. You can see what it's looking like. You position it right in the middle, and then tack it to this dress, and then put the beads or the trimmings around this sleeve. Thank you for watching. I'll show you the outcome.